Good morning, everyone. It's the beginning of the first week of Advent. Yesterday in church, we started our preparations for Christmas as we reflected on the first Sunday of Advent. And it's an exciting time as we prepare for the celebration of Christmas, as we prepare to recognize and remember the coming of Jesus into the world. And so I wanted to take the opportunity during these weeks to bring back our morning devotions. So from now, Monday to Friday, right up until Christmas Eve, we're going to share these morning devotions together, preparing us for the celebration of Christmas. Just a couple of things before we start to remind you of. First of all, we are going to be receiving Christmas gifts for the Belfast City Mission. We will put details of what you can give up on the Facebook page to remind you about that, and you can drop them off at the church on Saturday morning from 10 o'clock in the morning to 12 noon. We would love to see you there and to receive those gifts for the Belfast City Mission, as they will remind you about what you're allowed to give on the Facebook page. Also, as well as these devotions, we're going to put up on the Facebook page just a couple of quiz questions every day to do with Christmas as we get ourselves ready. And we'd love you to participate in those, family members, whoever, to just have a little bit of fun during this Advent season and share together. And I'll check the answers that you give and give you the right answer at the end of the day. So we'd love you to be able to do that and just find these ways to share with one another during this season, whenever, sadly at the moment, for these couple of weeks, we can't be together in church. I'm going to begin this series by reading from the very beginning of the Bible, from the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 3. Now the serpent was more crafty than any other beast of the field that the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God actually say, 'You shall not eat of any tree in the garden'?" And the woman said to the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden, but God said, 'You shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.' But the serpent said to the woman, 'You will not surely die. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.' So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. And she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. And then the eyes of both were opened. They knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loincloths." We're going to skip down to verse 14. The Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock, and above all beasts of the field. On your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." The beginning and the end of the Bible are very similar in lots of ways. The book of Genesis and the book of Revelation have some similar pictures in them. There's a garden in both. There's a garden, of course, the Garden of Eden at the beginning of Genesis. And at the end of Revelation, there is a garden city. This city of God with this sort of garden in the middle of it. In both accounts, there's a tree. In Genesis, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And in the book of Revelation, at the very end of the Bible, the tree of life, which we're told is for the healing of the nations. And in both, there is a serpent. In Genesis 3, we encounter the serpent who comes to tempt Adam and Eve to eat the fruit of the tree. But in Revelation as well, in chapter 12, there is a serpent or a dragon who appears, a great red dragon. And we wonder what the imagery is about there, or what is going on there. Well, they are the same person, because John tells us in Revelation that the dragon who appears there is that ancient serpent, Satan. So why does he appear at the beginning and the end? What's going on? Well, in Genesis 3, the serpent perhaps thinks that his mission, if you like, in the world has been accomplished, and accomplished fairly easily. He has come into the garden, he has seen the pinnacle of God's creation, and he has said, right, that's my chance, that's my opportunity. If I can get them to fall, it's over. God's plans are done. And so he succeeds. He tempts Adam and Eve, they eat the fruit, and they fall out of relationship with God. So the devil could say, well, that's it, mission accomplished, it's all done. But it's not. Because in Genesis 3, in verse 15, we're told that someone is coming who is referred to as the serpent crusher. That actually the serpent has not accomplished his mission. Not by a long shot. And in fact, the only thing that he has assured himself of is his own demise. Because God's promise will hold true. The serpent crusher will come. The end of the serpent story is in Revelation 12. He tries to destroy a special child that is born of a woman, and that child is protected by God and lifted up to the throne. The serpent then goes on to fight God's angels and wage war against God's people throughout history and through all generations. But ultimately, he is destroyed. We live in an age where the serpent is active. The serpent, of course, is the devil. He is Satan, the ultimate opponent of God. And he's active, and he's real, and he's present. He is about the job of seducing, of accusing, of threatening God's people right now. But at the beginning of Advent, we need to know that the serpent crusher has come. The serpent crusher has dealt with the serpent once and for all. The one who was born in a manger and rescued from the evil attacks of a serpent-inspired King Herod when he was just a small child. The one who died on a cross to rescue us from evil and from the serpent, and who in dying there crushed the serpent even as the serpent bruised his heel. We know that the serpent crusher has come. And so whatever we face today, we face it in the knowledge that Jesus has conquered sin and death and the devil, and that one day we will reign with him. That's the promise of Advent. That's the promise that we hold on to at Christmas. It's not just about a baby born in a manger 2,000 years ago. It's about the whole span of history and your and my place in it. And it's about the promise that because the serpent has been crushed at the cross, we can live life in relationship with God and look forward to life in that new garden city where we will have access to the tree of life and we will be forever with God. What a thing it is we have to look forward to as we prepare for this celebration of Christmas. We'll be doing this again tomorrow and over the next few weeks. So we look forward to being able to share these thoughts with you. Take care this morning in all that you're doing. And if you need anything, again, just a reminder, do get in touch. God bless.